Wednesday, October 8, 2025. Today on Beyond the Gates, Donald gets nowhere with his inquiry, Vanessa seeks comfort, and Danny tries talking Nicole out of her romance spiral. Smitty tries talking sense into Martin, who believes that turning himself in is the only way to save their marriage. But Smitty breaks out a picture of their family to prove his point that if Martin goes through with his plan, it'll actually tear them all apart, possibly forever. Suddenly, Smitty wonders if maybe his spouse never intended to turn himself in, hoping instead that the offer to do so would be enough. Martin denies the accusation and things quickly get tense between them. Can this marriage be saved? It sure isn't looking good, with Smitty admitting he doesn't know how this ends. After making Martin cancel his scheduled meeting with Jacob, at which he planned to confess, Smitty suggests they attend couples therapy and begin having date night once a week. And just like that, things are looking up for the pair. Still hanging with her sister, Danny realizes that Nicole basically got rid of the booze in her house to prevent her from getting tipsy and marrying her Uber driver. Talk turns to Andre, with Danny promising an unconvinced Nick that she has no intention of hurting him. Changing subjects, Nicole shocks her sis by revealing that Vanessa is involved with Joey. Next on their gossip roundup, Nicole's situationship with Carlton. Danny describes him as hot buttered toast with cinnamon on top, but Nicole insists she's completely done with love. Refusing to hear that noise, Danny insists there's only room for one emotional hurricane in this family, so get out of my lane and get back into your own. Ultimately, Nicole says she's been too badly scarred by what happened with Ted, and as a result, is in survival mode. Before dashing out following a steamy text from Andre, Danny apologizes for having set a bad marital example. Carlton doesn't have to be the one, she ends with, but maybe he can be the one for right now. Vanessa and Donald watch the video of Doug's last night at the casino. At the same time, the dealer talks to Marcel about the edits Joey made to the video. Marcel points out that the day Joey does something selfless is the day I eat my service pistol. Sure enough, Joey calls the dealer to the station so that he can answer questions. With, of course, answers pre-provided by Joey. At the police station, Donald meets with Drake, the dealer, while Vanessa goes to Uptown to have a drink with Joey. Marcus makes a point of saying in front of Donald and Jacob that he'd never met Doug. Anybody else think that's gonna come back to bite the dirty cop in the butt? Drake isn't able to provide Donald with what he needs to hear the truth, and is told by Jacob to stay in town. Jacob can see how shaken Vanessa's son is and suggests they go get something to eat. One guess where they wind up going and what they see upon walking in. For those not paying attention, the answers are Uptown and Vanessa holding hands with Joey. Wednesday, October 8, 2025. The ties that bind and break. Today on Beyond the Gates, Donald's investigation hits a wall, Vanessa seeks comfort in dangerous arms, and Danny does her best to pull Nicole out of her spiral of heartbreak and denial. Meanwhile, an act of self-preservation might destroy a marriage that was barely hanging on, and a shocking coincidence could change everything at Uptown. The morning air over Fairmont Crest was thick with tension, the kind of heavy silence that comes before either confession or catastrophe. In the softly lit kitchen of the Smitty Martin household, the smell of burnt coffee hung in the air as Martin stood by the sink, rubbing his temples. His phone screen glowed with a text reminder, meeting with Jacob 9:00 a.m. But before he could grab his keys, Smitty appeared in the doorway, arms crossed, wearing a face that mixed disbelief with exhaustion. "Tell me you're not doing this," Smitty said quietly. "Tell me you're not really planning to turn yourself in." Martin didn't answer right away. He just stared out the window, his jaw tightening. "If I don't," he murmured, "everything we've built, everything we pretend to be, it'll all crash down anyway. Maybe it's better I control how it happens." Smitty took a step closer, eyes glistening. "Control? You think confessing fixes anything? You'll be gone, you'll leave me, you'll leave our kids for what? For some illusion of justice." Martin turned then, his voice breaking. It's not an illusion, Smitty, it's guilt, real guilt. I can't sleep, I can't breathe knowing what I did. And just like that, the tension fractured into something raw. Smitty reached into a drawer, pulling out a worn photograph, a family portrait from years ago. Their kids laughing on a beach, sunlight in their hair, hope in their eyes. Look at this, Smitty said, holding the photo between them. If you go through with this, he pointed to the smiling faces, is what you'll destroy, not your secret, not your past, us. For a moment, Martin's bravado cracked. His lips trembled and his eyes darted toward the door, the escape route he always took when the truth got too loud. But Smitty wasn't done. You know what I think, Smitty said, voice trembling with both fury and hurt. I think you never planned to actually confess. You just wanted me to believe you would, so I'd pity you, so I'd think there's still a man worth saving inside you. Martin's head shot up. That's not true, he snapped, but the silence that followed betrayed him. The air went cold. Two people who once shared everything suddenly shared nothing but doubt. Finally, Smitty exhaled, defeated. Can this marriage be saved? They whispered. Because right now I honestly don't know. After a long silence, Smitty snatched Martin's phone, canceled the meeting with Jacob, and said with a tone that brooked no argument, "We're not confessing today, we're starting therapy. And from now on, you're taking me out every Friday night, date night. Maybe we'll remember who we were before all this." Martin hesitated, but then he nodded. A small, broken smile formed on Smitty's face, fragile but real. For the first time in weeks, they hugged, unsure if they were rebuilding or just patching over the cracks. But for now, it was enough. Across town at Nicole's apartment, the sisterly chaos was in full swing. Danny sat cross-legged on the couch, munching on popcorn, while Nicole paced in front of her, muttering under her breath. "You actually threw out the vodka?" Danny asked, wide-eyed. Nicole shot her a look. "I didn't throw it out, I relocated it, temporarily. The last time I drank, I nearly married my Uber driver." Danny burst into laughter, almost choking. "Oh my God, that was one time he was cute." "Cute?" Nicole threw her hands up. "He wore socks with sandals, Danny." "Okay," Danny grinned, but his car smelled like cinnamon and ambition. Nicole rolled her eyes, but a hint of a smile tugged at her lips. "You're impossible." "Exactly," Danny said proudly, "and you love me for it." The sisters' banter faded as Nicole sat down, fidgeting. "Vanessa told me something last night," she said quietly. "Something unexpected." Danny leaned in. "Oh boy, what now?" "She's seeing Joey." Danny's mouth dropped open. "Joey? As in Joey the ex-con turned fake hero Joey? Vanessa always said she'd rather die than date another fixer-upper." Nicole shrugged, pouring herself a glass of water. "Guess she's changed her mind, or maybe she's just lonely." That opened the floodgates, gossip, laughter, half-hearted advice about love and survival. Danny teased Nicole about Carlton, calling him hot buttered toast with cinnamon on top, while Nicole groaned and swore she was done with romance forever. "Done?" Danny asked. "Girl, you've said that every year since 2018. Nicole sighed. "Danny, after Ted, after everything that happened, I don't even recognize myself anymore. I'm not trying to fall in love, I'm just trying to survive." For once, Danny didn't joke back. She placed a hand on her sister's knee. "You're stronger than you think, Nick. You've just been looking for healing in all the wrong places. Maybe it's time to stop waiting for perfect and start living for right now. Carlton doesn't have to be the one, but maybe he can be the one for right now. Nicole smiled faintly just before Danny's phone buzzed. A message from Andre, full of heat and emojis that left no room for interpretation. Danny grinned, already grabbing her purse. Okay, I gotta go, but remember, there's only room for one emotional hurricane in this family, and it's me. So get out of my lane and back into your own, sis. Nicole laughed, shaking her head as Danny bolted for the door. Alone again, she stared out the window, wondering if love was truly done with her or just circling back in disguise. Meanwhile, at Fairmont Police Headquarters, Donald sat in an interrogation room, his pen tapping rhythmically against a notepad. Across from him was Drake, the casino dealer from the night of Doug's death. Drake's eyes darted around nervously. I told you, detective, I don't know anything else. Doug played, he lost, he left. Donald leaned forward. And Joey, you edited that footage before handing it over. You expect me to believe you didn't notice. Drake swallowed hard. I did what Joey told me to. He said it was to protect the casino's reputation. Funny, Donald said flatly, because I think it was to protect himself. Outside the room, Jacob observed through the glass, arms crossed. He could see Donald's frustration boiling. Every path they took led back to Joey, but with nothing concrete to nail him. Keep him in town, Jacob instructed quietly. He's lying through his teeth. Donald sighed, join the club. Later, at Uptown Lounge, the neon lights glowed soft and hazy as Vanessa stirred her drink, waiting. Her reflection in the glass was tired, too many nights chasing ghosts, too many lies told in the name of love. Joey arrived fashionably late, wearing that smirk she hated herself for loving. You look like you could use something stronger, he said, sliding into the booth. Vanessa smirked back, swirling her cocktail. You look like you could use a conscience. Tache, he grinned. But you didn't call me here for moral advice. They bantered like always, teasing, testing, circling each other with words that hinted at danger. But as he reached across the table and took her hand, the tension shifted. Her defenses wavered. And for a fleeting moment, she let herself forget who he was and what he'd done. What neither of them noticed was the door opening, and Donald and Jacob stepping inside, drawn by coincidence or fate. Donald froze first, his mother holding hands with Joey. Jacob's eyes widened. You've gotta be kidding me, he muttered. Donald's heart sank, his investigations suddenly colliding with his personal life in the worst possible way. His mother, his prime suspect, and the truth, all sitting together under the same dim light. The camera of life lingered there on Joey's smug smile, Vanessa's guilty eyes, and Donald's shocked expression. In that moment, the web of lies that tied Fairmont Crest together grew tighter, darker, and far more dangerous. Coming up next on Beyond the Gates. As Donald confronts Vanessa, secrets spill that no one saw coming. Nicole's survival mode backfires when Carlton makes a surprising confession, and Martin and Smitty's fragile peace is tested by a mysterious visitor. Because in Fairmont Crest, no truth stays buried and no heart stays safe.